Welcome to Showcase Chicago podcast. I'm your host, Michael Reyes, a Chicagoland realtor with A.R.E. Partners. And in this podcast, we delve into the heart of all things Chicago, real estate, and life as we engage in authentic conversations about some of the most significant decisions we make. On today's episode, I'm about to share a deeply personal and transformative story with all of you on my journey of shedding a whopping 170 pounds. It's a story I've never openly discussed before, but I believe it's time to break the silence. On January 11, 2021, I made a decision that changed my life, and I underwent gastric bypass surgery. Today, I'll be joined by special guest, my personal bariatric surgeon, Dr. Rami Lutfi, a world-renowned bariatric surgeon based in Chicago who has earned the reputation for excellence in the field. Together, we'll explore my experience and delve into the emotional and physical aspects of my weight loss journey. Dr. Lutfi's accomplishments are truly remarkable. He has performed thousands of successful bariatric procedures and is widely regarded as an expert in the field of metabolic and bariatric surgery. Not only has he written extensively for leading medical journals, but he has also trained surgeons worldwide on the latest innovative technologies. Dr. Lutfi's patient-centric approach emphasizes the importance of addressing the diverse needs of individuals struggling with weight issues. He believes that successful weight loss involves a comprehensive program that includes surgery, diet, exercise, and behavioral changes. With the support of his dedicated team, consisting of nurses, a dietitian, and a psychologist, Dr. Lutfi aims to help patients achieve their optimal outcomes. It is an honor to have you on Showcase Chicago podcast today, Dr. Rami Lutfi, and I am looking forward to this conversation. Welcome.
Thank you, my friend.
Again, I really appreciate you being on this. I'm excited to have my surgeon be in this room with me and share this experience, but we're just going to dive right in. I've struggled with my weight my entire life. At one point I did lose about 90 pounds, probably 15 years ago, and I had gained it all back and then some. And so about 3 years ago, I would say at this point, I had found myself in 352 pounds. I had pre-diabetes, sleep apnea, high blood pressure. My resting heart rate was 95 to 100. And I was just in a really devastated place in my life. And I was like, something needs to change, certainly with my weight and my health overall. And so I went to a family barbecue, and someone actually randomly shared with me that they had the gastric sleeve. And so it planted the seed, and I was like, well, I never really considered this, but I really think it's time to look into it. So I kind of went on this really mad search. This was October 10th of 2020. And I went on this really mad search about looking into this. I joined support groups. I started researching all the local surgeons in Chicago. And it just felt like this was an opportunity to really change my life. And I will preface it by saying it is not a guarantee. It is a tool. And I think that my journey really was a testament to there's a physical transformation, but my emotional transformation was something that was really important to me. But I did the work, and I had the surgery, and since then we've healed the high blood pressure, the sleep apnea. My resting heart rate is now 55 to 60. I work out 3 to 5 days a week. I do weight training and cardio. My entire life has changed. One thing I will say about my journey was about 6 months after the surgery, I started therapy. And for me, that was a part of the piece that I was going through this physical transformation, but it was the emotional stuff that was still kind of in the back there with my past traumas that was really adding to the weight gain and the emotional eating. And so with the surgery, I've lost all this weight. And then with the mental health, I really started to work on the traumas that really, I think, contributed to my weight gains all my life. And so hand in hand with therapy and the surgery, here I am today, my lowest was 182, and I'm about 192 and 93 now with the weight training. And that's my story to kind of summarize it. And, Dr. Lutfi, again, thank you for being here. Can you tell me about your team and your story?
Thank you for being here. mostly. And thank you for involving me. My part was very, very little. What you asked is very important about my team, because just as complex as obesity is weight loss and the journey, like you said. And the reason we always talk about the team, because surgery is just a small part. I'm the surgeon, basically, Rami Lutfi. But our institute, the Chicago Institute of Advanced Surgery, has just so many different people who hopefully were there in playing different roles in Michael's long and complex pre and post-op journey that is still in the infancy, because much more to come in your life. We have dietitians, like you said, nurses, psychologists, because the surgeon is often busy in the operating room. And even if the surgeon is not that busy, the needs of our patients are very diverse, and not all of them can be addressed well by the surgeon who's really not very well trained to respond to these emotional needs. But more important, Michael, your story actually is great to educate others, because here is a active real estate agent, successful one, I hear, that is.
Well, thank you. It's been a great 10 years. I just reached my 10-year anniversary in my business.
Here we go. So the stigma of those patients, the stigma we put upon those patients, they're just, all they need, eat less and exercise more. And a lot of this actually comes from doctors, uneducated doctors, primary care, family practitioners. A lot of our patients come and we don't see a referral. And we say, where's your referral? Say, I don't have one, because my doctor for the last 10 years is telling me, eat less and exercise more. Until now, I'm using a walker because of my weight. So your story really is great, because real estate, you actually walk. You walk into houses, you walk stairs, all your active work, the one that is not behind the desk when you're planning things with the customers, involves walking and the 10,000 steps on watches. That's why I don't wear it, because it just doesn't work.
Well, I definitely can do it better now because I'm so physically fit. And like the confidence in my business has elevated me for sure. There's so many factors, but yes.
So surgery comes to break that cycle. And one thing that I may not agree with you, we can disagree here, right?
Of course, I hope so. That's how it makes for great conversation.
You're blaming too much your story and the trauma and all the stuff that happened in your life. Trauma and psychological stress definitely lead us to eat more. That is 100%.
Okay.
Yet, we have to understand, and we have to tell our patients that obesity is a disease, is mostly metabolic disease. In fact, our society name, I just came back from our national meeting a few hours ago, just arrived late at night. We changed our society from American Society of Bariatric Surgery to American Society of Metabolic and Bariatric Surgery. We added that M because our patients need to understand, while trauma, depression, marriage, divorce, up and down in life do for sure play a role in our behavior, and behavior is a big component, yet we know that hunger and satiety are related to certain genes, just like cancer. If you smoke, you're going to increase your chance of lung cancer. But so many non-smokers get lung cancer because of genetics. This is, of course, to some extent similar, but the problem that you had, Michael, when I met you briefly before surgery, is you were doing everything you can. You were doing everything you can, and you failed to lose, or most important,
I hate
to maintain.
the word failed. Let's not use the word failed.
Okay.
Let's go with I struggled to succeed.
Okay. So you struggled to maintain that weight loss because of things that you cannot control.
I feel that. I definitely think that there's a huge factor about my family and the bloodline and genetics. I definitely think I read a lot of studies on that as well, and I definitely think that there's a truth in that for sure. So I'm happy to disagree and agree.
Yeah, but that said, this is what I agree with you. Is that and this is something that we don't do well as surgeons. And thank you for bringing that up. Not only after surgery, people should do what you did. Actually, even before surgery, I tell a lot of my patients, and patients don't like it because when they come, they want to have surgery because, like you said, they see it as a failure, which is the wrong thing, and they just want solution. I tell them, why don't you start by cleaning a little bit the back of your brain with all body image, blame, stigma, bullying as a kid. So I cannot agree more with you about therapy, discussion, even before surgery.
I agree. I absolutely agree. They did do a psych evaluation, and we did have those sessions before surgery. That's a part of becoming a bariatric patient, is you have to go through a psych evaluation. And I thankfully, was approved of that, and I got some preliminary psych work, and definitely taking it to the next level a year later helped a lot.
Now, tell me, and aside from all the podcasts, I never asked you that question. With all the research and all the education you got yourself and all the hard work and exercise, what would you say the number one reason you think you have been that successful? Number one reason.
I really wanted it. I think I definitely really, really wanted it. That's why I've been so successful. And I felt like I would not do something this significant and not go all the way, right? And really regain my health, right? So I think that's probably the number one.
Okay.
Yeah. And certainly the surgery, it definitely accelerated that, right? And that's one of the benefits of it. And then, kind of get to the honeymoon phase of the surgery, and then you kind of stabilize, I guess. But, I'm still, the rest of you're always going to be working towards a healthy lifestyle, maintaining health. But I really want this. I really want to have a full, healthy, vibrant life. And so I'm continuing to work this tool as much as I can to live that life.
So with that, on the other side, what is the one thing that holds you back? And if every day, I'm sure you wake up ready to go to war against obesity, even though you don't have it today, but your body wants to go back, as you know.
Absolutely.
So what is the one thing that you struggle with the most?
Right now, in this moment, I think my biggest challenge is that I'm kind of becoming a gym person, and I'm weight training. And my biggest struggle in this moment is knowing that my body actually needs more nutrition and more protein and more even carbs, which, carbs aren't bad, but they aren't something that I want to partake in a lot of. And it's choosing the right carbs, right? So, but my body's really reacting to the weight training and the workouts. And so my biggest struggle right now is that, making sure I'm actually eating enough to offset the weight training and the workouts.
And that's a great point, because we all need, when we lose drastic amount of weight, professional help. And I love how you said carbs are not bad. Carbs are not bad. It's the first source of energy. And if you come to me, and I've been doing this for a while, and I've done a lot of surgeries, I'm not that smart with these things, and you need a dietitian. You have to have a team of experts. And Michael, now pretty much, you know it all, your body. But people struggle out there. They think, I'm going to eat less. They starve themselves, and they see no weight loss because the metabolism needs a little fuel.
Yeah.
That car needs fuel, but it's just what kind of fuel, how much of it. So that's a great point. With that said, how do you see when you look at the mirror? A lot of people talk a lot about that. When you look at the mirror, how do you see yourself? Do you have any body image issue? I
would say, is it body dysmorphia is the proper term? There is no question that I still struggle with body dysmorphia. And oftentimes I look in the mirror and I still see the 352-pound person. And it's certainly something that, I'm 30, I just turned 39, and I look good for my age, but 39 years of, being obese and being in that body. I think I'm still struggled with that and processing it. There's certainly also moments in the mirror that I'm like, wow, look at those muscles. Who are you? Who did you become? And who are you becoming? Right. But there's still most times where I feel like, oh God, the skin, there's definitely a skin issue. Right. And, it's just dealing with those things, but working with affirmations and really looking at myself and giving myself grace and love. That's one of the biggest things that I will say is, even with therapy, that has taught me. It's like, as you can see, I like to work really hard and make things happen. But I think one of the biggest things I got from therapy has also been you've got to give yourself grace. You have to be nice to yourself. And my self-talk was so harsh and so critical, right? Even now when I look in the mirror, I shouldn't be telling myself you look terrible. I should be saying, wow, look how much weight you've lost and look how strong you've become. And your resting heart rate, by the way, is now 55 to 60. And like all of my comorbidities, all of my health issues, sleep apnea, blood pressure, all that's gone, and those are the things I should be focusing on.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is, how do you relate this weight loss to an active job like real estate? I know in the past we've talked about your struggle before. I remember, and here in this interview a few minutes ago, you talked about how you struggled doing your job. Do you feel now people take you more seriously, or you feel people never judge you?
That could open up a whole conversation. But
professionally.
Yeah, professionally, of course. But even in the world, right? I think that I am saddened that there was a reaction to my obesity when I was a heavier person. The world reacted to me differently, right? And there is certainly a difference. When I've always had this personality. I've always had this, bubbly energy, and people are drawn to me. But now with the physical transformation, I definitely feel there's more people drawn to me. And then to answer the question about my professional, right? Like, it's giving me the confidence and the strength I've always had the voice, but now it's no longer like weighing me down because of the weight. Like I can just physically feel good, look good, and really speak my truth in a much more elevated way. And so it's completely changed. And I knew actually, I should probably add this, that one of the deciding factors for me to get gastric bypass surgery was to make sure, or to elevate my business. Because I knew that I wasn't showing up in my life and in my profession as my best self. And I wasn't comfortable and I wasn't confident. And so one of the biggest factors of getting the surgery was to know that once I had this transformation, I was going to empower myself even more to help my clients and to support people as well as support myself.
Right. There are a lot of data, from social studies on obesity, talking about lower admission rate to college, lower yearly income, good jobs. Even you look, I go to give a lot of talks, and recently, in the last 10 years or so, those who ran for election, there was someone who's pretty overweight, had bariatric surgery by my friend in another state. And you look at the website, regardless of political direction, you see it's and I've put that on many slides as I go around the country. These are talking, how can someone who cannot lose weight, who is so fat, so dumb, those words that are the only accepted form of bullying and condescending speech today we have in America is against obesity. How can someone like this rule a country when cannot take control of their own body? And it's just terrible when we go and talk about businesses, how they see someone, whether it's a real estate, a secretary who's overweight, and how we don't believe as a society that obesity is a disease, but rather is a choice.
Yes. I mean, that's such a profound thing to say. I mean, I really think, we have to continue to combat that stigma because it truly is a disease. Like I did everything I could to try and be healthy. Like I said, I had lost 90 pounds previously and I gained in plaque and then some, right? I needed more help. I needed something else that was going to elevate it. And whether it was genetics or my family line, like everybody in my family grew up, we are a Hispanic family, and we were cooking and grew up with heavy fat foods and all of these things, right? So genetically and the generations that led into that weight, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it on my own, I mean, I shouldn't say I couldn't. I tried multiple times and I probably could have, but for me, this was the right decision for me. Right. And I'm not to say that this is the right decision for everybody, right? I'm not going out there and saying everyone should get gastric bypass surgery. That's not my stance, right? I think it's like, if there are things out there that you think you need for your life, and for me, it was gastric bypass surgery to help elevate my life, it's a tool, and I'm so grateful that I got it.
And there are many tools: diet, exercise, medications.
All that you have part of it, right?
Absolutely, there are plenty of medications. It's all over the news. There's endoscopy now. We can go through the mouth and suture the stomach, and all the way to surgery. And obesity is a chronic disease.
Exactly.
And I say non-arrogantly, of course, surgery is today the only way to help those with extreme obesity. In fact, some good news, you probably never haven't heard about this. We just passed a few months ago here in the US and also at the International Federation for Surgery for Obesity, changing the guidelines, because the guidelines we have now for the indication that your insurance company goes by is body mass index, which is basically our weight for our height, body mass index of 35 to 40 if you have diabetes or high blood pressure, or above 40. So now, we just passed that, going down body mass index 30 to 35 with comorbidity, or over 35 without anything, because of the incredible amount of data that we have that surgery is safe and effective, and it saves life. Basically, we have data, these are peer-reviewed data, that show that if you are severely obese and have surgery, the chances of you as an individual being alive at 15 or so, depending on paper, years from the time is increased by many folds. Because while the day of surgery, you're safer at home, every day after, there's less chance of a heart attack, less chance of renal failure, less chance of stroke. But surgery itself has risks. And the reason I put that intro, because I don't want this to be a marketing video for us at our institute or for surgery in general, because this man here did not have the easiest course after surgery. Surgery can have complication. So, Michael, with all the good thing, tell us the difficulty, the obstacles you hit.
I'm glad that you asked that. Again, like, I wish I had done the surgery sooner, even knowing I had these experiences. So I will start by saying I had two complications. The first was, I would say, a minor one. I had an ulcer that developed just after surgery, and we treated that, and that went away very quickly. I just had another endoscopy, and that's all clear and looks fantastic. However, about a year and a half, 2 years, I want to say, after surgery, I had an intestinal rotation, or what would you call it? What's the proper term for it?
Internal hernia. Internal
hernia. And so it's a Peterson gap where my intestines kind of went into the space in there. You're more technical, so you can give the answer. For me, it was my stomach was turned inside out, and there was knots in there, and I had a really bad stomach pain. I couldn't stand up straight, and I said, I'm just tired. I'll just stay in bed. And I stayed in bed for most of the day to try and feel better. And it turned out to be that I rushed to the hospital, and my stomach was in knots, and you guys had to get me into emergency surgery. Which I will say about that, I came to the hospital, Ona Masonic is where I had my surgery, and I was in here maybe an hour and a half, and when they did the CT scan and saw that my intestines were rotated and knotted up, you and your team was in the emergency room. Mind you, this is probably 9 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock at night. Him, his entire staff, all of your students, all of I guess they're not called students, but we're all there to take care of me. And I was in the operating table in less than 3 hours from getting into the emergency room to ultimately untie or unknot this hernia inside of me. And it was all done laparoscopically as well. It was certainly scary, It was something that I guess what, to my understanding, was that I lost so much weight, and you can't control where your weight is lost. And so the mesentery got really thinned out. And so that opened up a bigger gap for the intestines to go through. And that's ultimately how the knot happens. Again, you can use the proper terminology. And so I had to get that laparoscopically straightened out, and then I was fine. 6 weeks of not working out, which was the hardest part for me.
Right.
I had to go back to not working out for 6 weeks. And I got to tell you, that was the biggest challenge, which I will add to that is a testament to how I'm changing my life, right? It wasn't just the surgery. It's like, don't take away my workouts. And they're a part of what fuels me now. They're a part of my meditation. They're a part of my mental health, is to work out. So to the point, missing my workouts for 6 weeks sucked, and having a complication like that was scary. However, I still got my health. I still have this. And so that was one of the complications.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I wanted to remind people, I don't like to do this marketing video, and certainly this is not that. And I know how important for you to come out talking about that personal experience, because I understand usually this about work and internal hernia. Basically, you explained it very well. After any abdominal surgery, there could be scar tissue adhesions or movement of intestine, and with the very good thing of all that fat inside the abdomen, not the fat under the skin, getting lost, there'll be more room for movement, and basically the intestine rotates. It doesn't nod. There are other things that there will be nods, but this particular one rotates just because the fat shrunk and now there's more room for the intestine, and one day it go like this, and instead of going like this, it goes like this and then rotate. And basically that's called internal hernia, and it happens after any intestinal surgery, not only bariatric surgery, but it's more common with bariatric surgery for the reason you very elegantly stated. The fat shrinks, there's more room. And that's also the importance of having a team, because he's giving me too much credit. Michael called my team. It goes from the person who answers the phone to the nurse to me very efficiently, very quickly. Me calling the hospital is great. And they know that our patients take priority because they could get very sick. And the OR was ready, and we dealt with it.
I want to say you had like 15 people in this room, at least for my memory. Like, are those all of your students, or what is?
Well, we have earned very good reputation for training. So I have we have some medical students, we have residents, basically medical students who graduate, they're doctors already, but they're trying to be surgeon. And here at our institute, we are actually accredited fellowship for bariatric surgery. So we have board certified surgeons who come either from Chicago or mostly from elsewhere and spend a year with us to be accredited and certified to do bariatric surgery. So it's nice to see. I like my effect to go beyond my operating room.
Absolutely. Outside. Especially as someone as busy as he is, you need to have those people that you train and like you can rely on and feel confident in. And like I felt nothing but supported in this experience, and I appreciated it. Thank you. As scary as it was good that it got fixed and we moved on.
Any regrets?
I feel like the cliche answer that I've used all the time is I wish I'd had it sooner.
Okay.
But I think that any regrets? I mean, that's the only answer I could think of. I wish I had it sooner, but I also believe, I'm a very firm believer that everything happens at its right time and its right moments, and there's no room for past regrets or wish I had done something different. What happened in the past was the past. Where I'm at now is here and in this moment. And I feel good. I feel healthy. I feel empowered. My business is thriving for it. And anything I can share in my personal journey with anyone that needs some advice, they can reach out.
Not only for health, for real estate too.
Well, I always start with the real estate. But yes, if you have a question about my gastric bypass experience, by all means reach out. But if I can support you with the real estate needs, please call, text, or email.
Well, I tell you, if you're as good with real estate as you being a patient, so this guy here he knew much more than me about who goes where in Chicago, with surgery, what's going on. Mm-hmm. You've done incredible research, and it's funny sometimes for younger surgeons who are still a little hesitant, they get a patient like you who know a lot. It's intimidating, but I will say you are one of these people with so much knowledge, yet so much humility that is being great. The respect, the voice of you when you have a great voice, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if you get that when you try to sell a house.
Yeah.
But it's very commanding voice, and I do believe that it's been for me a pleasure and definitely an honor. Every time we touch someone, I always say, to people who are still hesitating. Do I go for surgery or medicine? And of course, surgery has a price. You lose a lot of good things in life with your commitment. I always say to them, though, no one can get anywhere closer to a human being than someone being inside someone's abdomen. And so it's such an honor and privilege for someone to trust me to go inside their belly and change their real anatomy.
No, I mean, I appreciate it. I mean, I definitely felt like I was in good hands. I felt like I can trust you. And it's something significant, but I appreciated the journey. And that's actually a great segue to be like, what got you into this? Like, why are you a gastric or bariatric surgeon?
Yeah.
Like, tell me about that.
Well, I'm a general surgeon. And so I went into, it's fun. I don't have personal story with surgery or obesity. A lot of people talk about their parents. For me, I went to in medical school. I went overseas, in a country called Syria, in Damascus, Syria, and studied all in Arabic. It was very hard to come here. But in my country, there are no college. So after high school, depending on your grades, if you score really, really, really high, you can get into medical school. But everyone in my family was a pharmacist, everyone. And we had a very good business. I'm supposed to be a pharmacist. We imported medication from Europe and all good. But then I went to the operating room on the 11th grade. It's 12th grade in my country.
Okay.
And I walked to the operating room with my dad's friend to watch knee replacement. And I felt, this is it. I don't want to do anything else in my life.
Wow.
I want to be a surgeon, not even a doctor, a surgeon. And I went and told my parents I don't want to be a pharmacist. Was a very big deal because, it's me and my sister. And I just wanted to be a surgeon. I felt surgeons changed the world by changing human life.
Wow.
And I went to medical school, came to US, and I loved working on obesity. And even though, like I said, I don't have a story, most successful bariatric surgeons have a story. I really don't, but I felt at very early age that it sucks for people with obesity. It really sucks. And it's hard to live with it. Mm-hmm. And I'm a crazy guy. I like to always challenge things. And I said, you know what? I am going to get into this field and help people. And that's where we are.
And you made, a significant impact in Chicago, but I'm sure you've been, nationally now. You're doing all your speaking and teaching engagements, and it's amazing what you're doing. And I appreciate everything you've done for me, and your team has truly been amazing. I will also add that you guys do support groups that really helped me as well. Those Zoom calls as part of this journey. It's like you're not in it alone. You need to rely on your people that have experienced it or
right.
experiencing it, and the support groups are a huge help to get to that. And your team was definitely your nutritionist. Everyone was such a great support. So I really appreciate it.
No, thank you. It's a service. It's just a service, but it's a sophisticated one, and it's so good to see you. And I'm glad you said no more for the struggle.
Yeah.
It's a hard decision to decide to have an operation.
It's a big one, you don't go under the knife and it's a big decision, but it definitely felt like the right one. And and you guys were amazing. And also I'll say it's just genuine. Like everyone in here is so genuine and personable. And that's for me something I look for in any interaction I have in my life, in my business, in my career, anything. I'm looking for really authentic, honest, hardworking, good people. And you guys are all that. And really took great care of me. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So as we end this,
this
is not rehearsed, by the way.
Oh no, this is all candid. This is
what I always, we people interview me and always ask if you have an advice, not just one advice, just an advice to those who are home struggling. And this is not about recommending us at all. This is genuine advice. Struggling, saying, I don't want this. I watch on TV all these things. What would you advise someone who's struggling with obesity for so many years?
Oh, I love that question. I think the number one thing, you have to ask for help and you have to be vulnerable. I think that we shut down and we don't ask, we don't share, we don't have conversations with other people. So reach out to someone, whether they've been through this experience or whatever they're doing, ask for help, share your experience, be vulnerable. People want to be there for each other, and if you're just sitting at home by yourself, struggling with your own struggles by yourself, that's never going to get you anywhere. You know what I mean? And we just collaborate with other people, talking things over with other people, just sharing honestly, it moves you from where you are, from being stuck, right? And it gives you the tools and the information to put you into a better place. So just reach out to someone and ask for help.
I think, I'm very passionate about this, and you always speak very, very well. And it's so good to see you so confident now.
Thank you. I feel like a different person.
You are different.
I am, right? Yeah, I'm healthy.
It's not, and people say, I have the same heart. I say, no, you don't even have the same heart because your heart is better now.
Absolutely. Have thinner, right? Because it's probably how fat around and all that. Yeah. So no, I definitely feel like, it's transformation for sure. And my goal in life is always to be authentic and honest and like show up and make yourself and also do good work. You know what I mean? So we all take care of each other. Yeah. This is awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
This is great. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Showcase Chicago podcast. If I can support you with your real estate needs, you can search Showcase Chicago or Michael Reyes on all social media platforms, or go to www.showcase-chicago.com. Until next time, continue to live your best life. I'm Michael Reyes with A.R.E Partners. Thanks for listening.